When I first started thinking about a literacy narrative, I didn't know what story I wanted to tell about myself. But as I thought about when I started reading and my personal relationship with books and other media, I knew exactly what I wanted to say. So let's start with my mom. She was reading books to me when I was in preschool. While I don't specifically remember some of the moments before bed, I do remember some of the books I would ask her to read me over and over again. Never Cheese a Weasel, Goodnight Moon, Guess How Much I Love You, and Stella Luna, the latter being my absolute favorite book when I was younger. I was reading a bit by the time I was in kindergarten, and by the time I was in first grade, I was able to start reading chapter books. Even after I moved to Florida, I was still reading for pleasure a lot, but that all changed when I got to middle school. Having AR in school wasn't something new to me, but being restricted on what I could read was. Middle school was my dark period for reading. With the Reading Counts program, my Lexile was so high that I couldn't read anything I wanted to. I was restricted to large, nonfiction books only, so my love for reading died. I didn't read for pleasure anymore, though I did turn to writing to help me escape. I started writing fiction pieces and short stories during this lull in my academic journey. It influenced me to also create instead of passively enjoying the stories of others. Once I hit high school, my reading wasn't restricted anymore. I vividly remember going into the media center on the first day of school and asking the librarian where the 1900 plus Lexile books were. She looked at me and said, "Sweetie, we don't do reading counts here." It was the most beautiful phrase I'd ever heard. So I started reading whatever I wanted to again, and I couldn't stop. My mom would take me to Barnes & Noble once a week, and I would buy books upon books. The novel that influenced me the most, not just as a reader, but as a person, was Cassandra Clare's City of Bones. I fell in love with the writing style, the characters, the world she'd built, everything. It became the fantasy escape I had been looking for in so many other novels. But that wasn't the best thing that the series gave me. It gave me a best friend. My sophomore year of high school started, and I was reading one of the later books in the series during an Algebra 2 class. This kid sat down next to me, reading a different book from the same series, and introduced himself. It's been 8 years since then, and we're still inseparable. Our literacy narratives became intertwined with each other's. We were always reading the same books and discussing them. We joined a book club together, we developed characters for stories with each other, we became consumers and creators in our own right. Our second year of college, the City of Bones movie released in theaters. We were so excited. We dressed up, got temporary tattoos, just to see a film that ultimately let us down. It was a devastating blow to both of us, but it sparked a new love in me that I started consuming. Film and television. I would sit down and watch films and hours of television just for the story. What did the writer want me to feel? Why did they decide to write the story like this? What would I have changed if I was the one writing it? I became a critic with my best friend by my side. I had grown so much from just passively reading books. I still read today, though most of it is for classes. I do enjoy novels on the side for my own personal enjoyment. I still write my own fiction stories. I don't think I could ever stop doing that. I consume an unhealthy amount of television and pay to see way too many films in theaters, just so I can analyze them and give my unwanted opinions to my friends and family. That's my literacy narrative. It's not exactly exciting or inspiring, but I hope that with my own love of literacy, I can inspire future students in my classroom to develop their own unique love for it.